There's Machu Picchu. It was built in 1540 by the 9th Inca king, Pachacuti. Look at, isn't it amazing? Look at all those terraces. And there's, oops, that mountain up there is Machu Picchu. And that's it. So this building was just used to store food in the Inca times. That's true. Take some of this. Okay. Just as we go up. Okay. Here we go. Up more stairs. Lots of climbing at Machu Picchu. Were all of these stairs built by the Incas, or has this been put in afterwards?
This is after. It was built 20 years ago, just for tourists.
Okay.
To get the classical famous point.
Okay.
And Nat Geo use for the classical postcard. Okay.
So here we are looking at Machu Picchu again. This was all covered in trees and overgrowth until 1911. An American archaeologist. Here's what it looked like. Can't see anything there. And the American was an archaeologist? Historian. And he found Machu Picchu. 1911, can you believe that? So the upper part up here was probably more for wealthier people, people of nobility, and then as we came down here, this part would have been for more of the everyday citizens of the Inca kingdom. But if you look right, I'm going to try to zoom in, see the round tomb. That was the most important temple right there in the center, the round building that you see. That was called a sun temple. They also have an aqueduct system. I don't know if you can see down there, but what looks like the paths. There we go. Looks like a path or a stone, little short stone thing was an aqueduct system. It went way, way up on this other mountain. Right up where you see that V up there, there's a natural spring. So they built an aqueduct system to bring water down.
Was found by Bingham.
These are wild begonias, aren't they beautiful? We saw them all along the mountain when we walked up Machu Picchu, and here they are growing along the side here. Just wild. Okay. I am walking on the end of the Inca Trail right now. You can see this is coming from Cusco, heading to Machu Picchu. So I'm going to walk up it a little bit and then come back down to Machu Picchu. This is part of the Inca Trail. And there's the very end of the Inca Trail as it enters into Machu Picchu. All stone. That right there is the guardhouse that looked over all of Machu Picchu. There was another guard located over where the aqueduct is, right over there, and they communicated to one another using mirrors and horns.
Section of the urban sector.
Okay, you can see there's a person standing in the way in the distance. That's where the water, the aqueduct, the water fed into the city. And then you can see there's a walkway. Goes the walkway, and it goes all the way down. And it goes all the way down. You can't see it, but there's a river way down at the bottom, and that walkway goes all the way down to the river. And we're walking down now to the main gate of the city.
Yo oye que los tributos los pagaban con trabajo. No,
Because there are many things.
Okay, so one of the theories about what Machu Picchu was is that it was a convent. It was a place for the chosen women. When they found bodies here, they found 80% of the bodies were female. And so one of the theories is that this was an Inca convent. So a more accepted theory of what Machu Picchu actually is that it was a sacred land where different Inca tribes or different people from different Inca areas would come for purification. So when, in modern times, using DNA on the bodies that were found here, they found that they were not all from the same area. So some of them, you know, were from very far away, Colombia, some were from Peru. They were not related, so they don't think this was a village where people lived their whole lives, but rather people came here for purification because it's such a sacred land with all the mountains, very close to nature, to God, as they would have thought God. Okay, so Machu Picchu actually is at the edge of the Amazon jungle, right here. You can't see it from here, but way down is the very beginning of the Amazon River, and it goes around and through these mountains here. So we're actually in the outer edge of the Amazon of Peru. I'm just going to get some... So in this round temple right here, the Temple of the Sun, on June 21st, the sun will come through that window right there and shine perfectly through. So it was marking the summer solstice. There's another window that actually marks the winter solstice. And over here, that first building right there, the Incas would have pure virgins or young girls who would mind the temple. They would also be the most beautiful Inca girls. The place is small, so there were probably only a few in this one, but it was very close to this temple where they would do sacrifices on the stone in the middle, plus they also had their water on the outside of it. You could be purified with water. So this was a very important part of today what we call Machu Picchu. This area right here, it's believed to be an Incan convent. So they were not Catholic, they had their own religion, more a Mother Earth type of religion, but they were a spiritual people, and this was believed to be a convent. Here we have the main doorway to the temple, to the main temple. Just beautiful. So here, from all that water, this is the first water fountain inside Machu Picchu. So the water comes all the way from up in that spring through their canals to here. Look how big some of these stones are. They're not fit in tongue and rib, they're kind of in the inside. You can see, because they're pushing away a little bit, they were wavy. And then the other stone would be the opposite direction so that they would fit together tightly. Amazing. So this is the view from the Sacred Plaza, looking down to the river. All these stones here, this was the last quarry. So this is where the Incas were actually working, mining the stones out. Okay, these terraced areas here, I would have thought were for farming, but they are just for foundation of the city. You can see. The reason why they know this to be true, and you can also see way up there, also foundation. The reason why they know this is true is because there isn't a lot of dirt on top of them. Whereas if we go over here, this was for farming. There's 1.5 meters at least of soil in those areas, so they planted things in that area. So that line that you see in the forest there is another Inca trail. Okay, so this is an Incan sundial. It's how they could tell when they should plant, when they should harvest. Basically how they were able to tell what time of the year it was. So here we have another view of the ruins. Again, in the background you see that trail going up. They've actually found ruins under that tree that they think they'll, under that tree cover, that they'll probably start excavating in the next year or two. And you can see, I don't know if you can see all the birds flying around, but these are swallows. There are just hundreds of them. They just fly so fast, I can't keep up with them. Okay, saying goodbye to Machu Picchu. The sun is setting. There's Machu Picchu and all the other mountains that keep to the Amazon and the walkway.